Hey yo, what is going on guys? Cash and Clean here, and for today's video, I just wanted to talk about why Trove just feels so unrewarding, which eventually leads to people quitting the game. Now this game is pretty fun, like the idea of it in general, but the way that the devs are taking this game is just really not the way to go. More content keeps getting added, there isn't really an end game to this game at all. There's really no purpose to getting mastery, there's no purpose of getting power rank. Mastery I guess to a certain point, and then anything further is just kind of useless. Power rank doesn't really matter, you just have to do enough damage to do whatever Uber you're in. And then we have a bunch of things in this game that you can farm for, and you can just, I don't know, you can spend like months doing one thing in this game and you can make no progress at all. And that's just the type of game this is. There's a bunch of time gated things that we'll get into, and overall this game in general just needs a rework. I kind of doubt that's ever gonna happen, but I'll just kind of go over everything in my opinion, and I want to hear what you guys think in the comments section below if you agree or if you have other opinions. So starting things off, we're gonna go into permatorches. So farming Ifera, I guess you can do the other ones, but there's really no point at the time of me recording this. Just farm the U10 Leviathan, whether that's in Delves or out in U10, and trying to get a permatorch from this thing. You can get one from the badge, so that's 250 Levi's, and that also is the average-ish of when you can get a permatorch, or when to expect one, I should say. Now it is an average, I don't know how accurate it exactly is, but one in every 250. Sometimes you can go 1,000 with that one, sometimes you'll get like a couple back to back, and that's a maybe, not really guaranteeing anything. But long story short, you can farm, I don't know, maybe 50 Levi's a day, get a good couple weeks of farming Levi's, maybe about a month, and you can just make no progress. That's just how the game is. I understand that the devs don't want to make it so you get things instantly, you gotta actually farm for things, but when you're not making progress towards this one thing, it's just so unrewarding and just makes a lot of people quit the game eventually. Not specifically for permatorches, but for other things as well. This is just an example of one of the things, especially when there's other things that people could be farming for, but when the opportunity is there, you may as well just take it. So like if I'm in Levi chat, so if I see someone that finds a U10 Ifera, I'm just gonna jump on in. And if I don't get a permatorch, then I kind of just go back to doing what I was doing. Yeah, I can kind of go on and try to farm them myself, but the time, the effort, the payout, if I'll even get a permatorch out of it, I don't know if that's even gonna happen. And something very similar to this is mementos. When I was trying to farm for Corners of Cthulhu, if you know, you know, that memento took me a long time to get. I had to not only find the biome, but I had to find it on every third floor, so the vault. And then even if I were to meet those conditions, I had to get that drop, which was also rare. Some mementos were pretty common than others. I remember there was an event, there was a couple events ago where they released some mementos. Actually, it was the Castle Catastra update. There were a few mementos that you had to farm for, which, you know, no problem. I'll go ahead and farm those. I eventually got the mementos, and then there's a couple creature mementos that just would never drop. I farmed this biome for so long, like many weeks. Like I put in so many hours trying to get this thing and it just would not drop. And that just felt super unrewarding. If I wasn't at the very top in this game in terms of like mastery, power rank, all that stuff, I probably would have quit a long time ago. Although I do make content for this game, so I try to help you guys out. So if you're stuck in the game, then I do my best to make tutorials, bring out guides, some new updates, news, all that good stuff for you guys. And whatever you guys are trying to farm for, I've been there. I know the pain, it's rough, but you'll make it through. And even if you don't, you can just farm for something else in the meantime. That's the cool thing about this game, you can farm for other things, but it is pretty unrewarding when you're not able to get the one thing you're trying to go for. Like if you want to get a pyro disc for your shadow hunter or something, whatever the case may be, it can be super unrewarding and you might just play a different game. And speaking of pyro disc, I want to get into all the gem stuff. So empowered gem boxes, 9th lives, luck bugs. At the moment, they're pretty time gated. You can farm empowered gem boxes. So like if you do your weeklies, you know, obviously get the lunar souls, all that stuff, do your contests, there's that stuff. If you do farm adventurine, however, if you have a club that has these merchants, if you're in a level 10 club that has all the benefits and all that, you should have the merchants. You can actually just go to one of them and they have the radiant version of the empowered gem boxes. So you can buy those and then you can loot collect those empowered gems for fragments. And then eventually you can save up to get the stellar, the guaranteed, and hope that it's not a 2-star. The whole process does take a while, so if you really do want to farm it, you can, but it's a bit of a pain. Almost as much of a pain as trying to get 9th lives and luck bugs and all that stuff. They're pretty time gated. I could just wait for certain events like the Frosty event, which is in December, but that's a very long time from now. Unless you're watching this close to December, then it's not a long time from now, but waiting for that 1 month out of the 12 months is pretty rough. And yeah, I could probably farm for credit pouches and maybe get the gem booster boxes or something from the store, but it's really not that worth it. And speaking of, let's get into credit pouches. You know, they're 4 million each at the time of me recording this. They used to be 200k. So on top of everything that I've already said, if you need anything mastery related or anything from the store, You used to be able to farm it pretty easily, like you can get the 15 days of patron. I remember trying to farm those because I had the double magic find, so I went out, farmed some dungeons, got enough flux, got some credit pouches, and then saved up for the patron so I could use it until my current one runs out. But apart from patron, there's so many things that you could have been using the credit pouches on, whether it's the mastery stuff in the store, the dragon coins, all that good stuff. They're 4 mil each now, so you have to use it wisely, and it's pretty difficult to get if you don't have a really good flux making strategy. There is a chance that these things could drop in price again, but who knows to how much and who knows when that's gonna happen. And it could also just go straight up. So if there's new packs that get released or anything like that, the prices for credit pouches will go back up, and it's just not going to be too fun to farm for. I guess you could just farm an IRL job and try to make money there to transfer onto Trove, but who really wants to use their money, like IRL money for Trove? And even if you're buying these credit pouches, the person on the other side that's listing these gets the tax. So let's get into the tax stuff for the marketplace. Now, if you're making flux, you're most likely using the marketplace to sell something. There are other ways like farming dungeons, loot collect the stellars, stuff like that, but getting taxed 10% of whatever profit that you were gonna make is pretty rough. And on top of that, you get a fee for when you list something, and it's even terrible if someone tries to undercut you, because you don't want to, go through the whole fee process again. And the whole thing is just a big mess. I don't know why they added tax on this game. I know they have it for like FIFA and some other games. I think some other MMOs might have it, but I feel like Trove was fine without it in my opinion. I used to store flux on alt accounts just so I'm not tempted to use any of it, but now I don't really want to do that because trading it back to my main account is just going to be a huge pain because the trade post doesn't really allow you to add that much. So I'll have to make mega flux tanks, which requires glim. So I'll have to use more flux to get that. And overall, it's just like a lose-lose situation. So no one wants to be losing out on their potential flux earnings. And on top of all of that, there's just so many new things that are added into the game, and there's just so many more updates constantly being added. If a new player plays this game, there's just so many things to look out for. The game doesn't really do a good job of giving you like a direction to go in when you're playing this game. So when you play, you kind of have an idea of what to do, like maybe you just level up your character and then you don't really know what to do next. Luckily, there are some guides on YouTube that will help you out, but at the end of the day, there's just so many things. Everything's just time gated, not too fun for the new players. Even for everyone else, like I have to wait on my 9th lives, luck bugs, all that stuff. Not really fun to be waiting for. So in the meantime, I just kind of play other games because there's really much else for me to do on Trove. Like, yeah, sure, I can grind stuff on Trove, but it's really not that worth it in my opinion. So with all of that being said, I'm curious on what you guys think, so let me know in the comments down below. Does the game feel super unrewarding? How do you feel about the content for the new players, even the endgame players? And also let me know what you guys think about the current events. Not like IRL current events, but like in Trove, like the Snowfest event, the Spring Fling update whenever that happens. Because I'm not sure if you guys want to be waiting until December to get your Frosty boxes, and that is if you have the resources to donate and if it comes back again. They did have the Skelly boxes, which were pretty similar, but they removed it last year for whatever reasons, so not too sure on what's happening with that. Anyway, I'm done rambling on. Thank you so much for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing, and I will talk to you all later.